Welcome to the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences. This school is one of the oldest schools in the United States of America. We are the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences because we not only focus on traditional Chinese medicine, but we are all-encompassing, bringing in culture, community, tradition, and a little bit of friendship as well.
So thanks everyone for being here tonight. I'm super excited to share our virtual open house with you. I am Katrina Hansen. I am the admission coordinator here, as well as being the incoming Title IX coordinator and a faculty member here as well. So when we get to the Q&A section later on, I'm happy to answer questions as both admin and faculty here about what it's like to be at ACCHS. And we also have our president here today, and we're going to have some of our other admin and faculty and students coming to speak with you as well and answer questions about all of the aspects of our community and what it's like to be a part of our school. This is a picture of our school from the outside. We're in downtown Oakland with this beautiful building here, so it's a lovely location right next to BART and everything, so super easy to access. All right. And then we're actually going to be sharing with you a Qigong practice today. So once we go over a little bit about the programs, one of the faculty members that we'll hear from is actually also a former student in the MSTCM program and a current student in the DIOM program, Joe Davis. And he is going to lead us in a little Qigong exercise. So we'll get to do some self-healing today too, a little practical knowledge, get a taste of what it's like to be in the program and not have us at you the whole time. So if you stick with us to towards the end, you will get that little Qigong practice as well. You will also get a coupon code to get your application fee. That's normally $100 application fee, but we're not charging that if you stick with us today, since you're investing time in being here for this open house and sharing this time with us. We're going to invest that back in you and cover that application fee for folks that choose to apply this week. So we'll be giving you that code at the end if you stay until then. All right, so just to get right into the question that I think is most on people's minds is that we are in the middle of a pandemic. And so that changes things a lot, right? So a lot of us are wondering what this new and different way of practicing acupuncture might look like, both now and in the future. And especially what does that look like for our students? So our programs right now, the didactic classes are online. We're doing virtual learning. It's going really well. Our teachers and our students are adapting to that change, being able to be creative with that, doing some live classes, but also some interactive things on your own time or some independent kind of project stuff coming out of this, just some really great creative ideas. And then for clinic, we're able to do an option of either virtual healing or so like herbs and acupressure and things like that, all the nutrition and lifestyle change stuff that's such a core of our medicine as well. It's not just about the acupuncture, but we also have options as essential healthcare workers to do this work in person as well. So we do have students that like to practice in person, able to do that in our school clinic, and students that don't want to do that, but want to practice virtually during this time, have that option as well. And we do plan to continue the virtual option in some capacity moving forward as well, since we are just adapting to modern times and knowing that, you know, there are different ways to practice this medicine moving forward. So we have those options available. So this is a little taste of one of our students in clinic right now, suited up for the pandemic and all the precautions that we are taking to be able to practice this medicine in person safely right now, while still also, you know, providing quality care for our patients that are coming in. So basically, Chinese medicine has endured for thousands of years and, you know, seen many pandemics over the course of that. So even though we are in the midst of this right now, our medicine has been through this many, many times and will continue taking us through this as well. So it's kind of the best time to be studying this medicine and preparing for, you know, healing people in this capacity and being able to adapt to so many different types and modalities of practice that can be flexible during a time like this. So it's just a really exciting time to be thinking about the future of our medicine and the future of education in this field as well. So a little bit about our school and our philosophies here. I think that the best part about having this as a career is that it is such a meaningful career. It's not just a career for having the sake of a career. It's actually doing something helpful for yourself, for your patients, for your community through this medicine. And that's something that we really embody through our school and our mission as well. So since our founding, our mission has been to provide affordable education that's accessible to our local community. And our school remains focused on preparing practitioners who are committed to serving our local communities and populations who need this medicine the most. So the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences, ACCHS, was established in 1982, one of the first schools in the country, or actually the third oldest acupuncture school in the United States. And it was founded by Master Wei Cui as one of the few schools focused in classical Chinese medicine. So rather than TCM, traditional Chinese medicine schools do, it's a little bit more modern, more back to the roots. And so we are trying to honor and restore the roots of this medicine as it was meant to be practiced, as well as integrating it with modern information and making it accessible to modern communities. So we also incorporate Chinese culture into our program. You learn some medical Chinese, you learn more Chinese medicine history and Tai Chi and these other pieces that are coming into play more in our school because we are the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences. So not just about the medicine, but also about that background and grounding in that history as well. And like I said, it's also a very flexible practice. So we can see patients in person, we can do telemedicine, we can focus in acupuncture or herbs or Qigong, Tai Chi, acupressure, massage, Tuina, all of these different things are a part of our medicine and we can use all of them. We can use pieces of them at different times. We have this flexibility with our modalities and the ways that we practice that really lend itself, especially to a time like this when we need multiple options of how to practice. So our school is really grounded in that history and its roots in classical Chinese medicine. And it's also very forward thinking in creating these telemedicine shifts. And like the previous picture, creating free clinics and all sorts of different things that we are working towards that are in alignment with our mission and our values. So we are the three kind of pieces of studying with this are not just having a meaningful career and a career that can offer you endless professional development opportunities. We have faculty that are renowned for their specialties, have a lot to share with us, both in the MSTCM program as well as furthering our learning in the DIOM program. But we're also a community, and our mission is really keeping with that community feel of having small cohorts that go through the program together, really get to know each other, study together, eat together. You know, they're in class together all the time, all through the basically 3.5 years of the program, and really creating that community, that cohesive cohort together with small class sizes, and having that support that you don't often get in other larger programs where everyone's schedules are totally different. You have a core group of people that you're learning and studying with. Personal growth is also a big part of this practice and of our school. So we're learning to heal our patients, we're learning to heal our community, we're also learning to heal ourselves. So we do Qigong together. We have these practices that we can share with our patients for their self-care, but that we can also use for us as healers. So part of your journey in going through this program is about developing your own self-care practice. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. So that is also a big part of this medicine as well. We have our community-oriented program. We're rooted in classical Chinese medicine. We're also forward-thinking, pushing this medicine into the future, and how can we serve our communities better and adapt to changing times. Those are kind of the core pieces of what it means to be part of our ACCHS community. Right? And we're also part of, like I said, being accessible to the local community. We're also one of the more affordable programs. So that means not only that our tuition is lower and that you come out of school with less debt moving into your career, but also that we have classes on a set schedule of Tuesdays and Thursdays that you can work around with your work schedule. So you don't have to give up your job potentially while you are a student here. You can continue to work through the program and then take out less loans so that you have less debt moving forward. So we are creating that as a way of working with working students and allowing you to keep your other commitments as you move through this journey of coming into this medicine. And we also do outreach events. So this is an outdoor outreach event doing some ear acupuncture. So we're not just in the clinic all the time, but also being able to practice this medicine actually in the community and being a part of different community events as well. So I put some testimonials in here too. So it's not just me talking about how great our program is, but you can see this is from a patient just talking about the quality of our clinic, which speaks to the quality of the education and the supervisors and the students that are in this practice. So the students here take Chinese medicine seriously, and it is very impressive. When I first walked in, I saw the herb room filled with the glass jars brimming with different plants. It was very interesting to receive a treatment because acupuncture can be hit or miss depending on the practitioner. I am feeling much better and I look forward to my next treatment. So thank you, students of ACCHS, for continuing the superior service the school is known for and pursuing your career as health practitioners. And then from a student perspective as well, ACCHS is a great place to learn about Chinese medicine. I graduated 2 years ago from the master's program and have major accolades to share. Of the many choices for acupuncture school, ACCHS offers a classical and modern approach. Good there's an environment downtown Oak, which is like a hidden jewel if you don't know Oakland well. Convenient by BART bus, great shops and restaurants everywhere. The program is 3.5 years and trained me well as I passed all my boards and state licenses the first time, something that other schools struggle with. ACCHS has one of the highest pass rates and was truly a great learning environment. Andreas, would you like to speak to us?
Sure. First, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. I'm definitely excited about anyone, especially in this sort of day and time, about anybody going into traditional Chinese medicine. The sort of the going saying around here is we need healers now more than ever. And even sort of amidst the pandemic and kind of the overall chaos that, is going on now, traditional Chinese medicine is so much about sort of, bringing things back, giving things meaning, and trying to sort of find the order, or the silver lining. So we need healers more than ever, I think, in every capacity. Apart from the pandemic, it just seemed that sort of pre-pandemic, we needed people to sort of go into preventative healthcare, and we're needing more people to train in modalities other than sort of the Western modalities that we're so used to. And we've seen that. I have been with this school for about 20 years now. And so I've had the privilege of seeing traditional Chinese medicine grow, and seeing the amount of practitioners that are going out there and adopting the traditional Chinese medicine modality to not only supplement, but to sort of create an alternative way of thinking in terms of healing, and engaging in that transformation process individually as well. And it's been more about the transformation that people go through going into a traditional Chinese medicine program, and sort of not only learning how to heal, but also learning how to heal themselves, right? So in traditional Chinese medicine, we say first you need to learn how to heal yourself before you learn how to heal others. And then sort of, again, engaging in these lifestyle changes, right? So philosophies about diet, nutrition, mental health all come into play. So it goes without saying that out there in the world, we need more of that. We need more practitioners who are sort of like in traditional Chinese medicine, willing to really understand what's going on with the individual, because we know that in traditional Chinese medicine treats the individual and not the symptoms, right? And so we really want to understand what's going on with the individual. And I think that we need that more than ever, and we will continue needing that more than ever. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that in the amount of schools that are cropping up across the country, and we're seeing that in the amount of practitioners that are out in the field as well. So I really admire anybody that is going into this profession, and I have a special deeper admiration for people that are ready to engage this now. So I'm excited that so many people have attended, and so many people are really ambitious enough to get this training going now. Like I said, I've been involved with the school for 20 years. I was an English teacher before, and while I was teaching English, I was also an administrator here at the school. And I guess I just fell in love with the community here, with the programs that we were offering. I loved it so much that I haven't left, and I couldn't leave. And here I am, president of this wonderful school that's now the third oldest school in the country. You know, we've been around for close to 40 years now, very, very close to 40 years now. And so I guess, you know, the bottom line is kind of what this school has been doing, its approach to traditional Chinese medicine, the values that we have here, it's working, right? So, and many of the faculty and the staff, like myself, have been, you know, so interwoven with what we do here that, you know, our turnover rate is very, very low, and the dedication that we have from our staff and faculty, because of the community that we build here, is outstanding. And so that's something that I like to convey to everybody. And, you know, again, it is amazing sort of the transformation process that students go through. And since I have been here at the school for so long, it's just amazing to see, you know, the moment that people come in as first years to the time that they graduate, and sort of this wonderful blossoming that happens. It is very incredible. For prospective students, of course, I cannot stress enough how important it is to really understand kind of what you want from a school, right? And even with the pandemic and having to Zoom, you know, it's always good to ask as many questions. And I know that here we also, even through Zoom, we have our prospective students sit in on as many classes as they can. Of course, when we're in person, we recommend that as much as possible. We recommend coming into the clinic. We have given tours here, even with the pandemic. So myself and some of the other administrators are more than happy to set up appointments where we can walk people through the school and show people around. Because at the end of the day, what's most important is that when you make your decision to go to a school of traditional Chinese medicine, that you feel a deep connection with the values of the institution, with the people that are going to be helping you through the matriculation process, that you feel good about sort of clinic and what's happening in clinic, and of course sitting in classes and getting sort of a dose of what the classroom environment is like and what our faculty is like. It's just really important to kind of get the full flavor before you make that decision, and so we really press that upon everybody, because once we admit you, once we bring you into the community, it's like your family. And so we really try to maintain that throughout your matriculation process. You know, it's interesting is because when you're making the decision of figuring out what school to go to, you know, it's important to understand that all of the traditional Chinese medicine schools, the reputable ones that have been around for a while, we're all accredited under the same accreditor, and so that requires that we sort of maintain similar curriculums in order for those students to graduate and go on to take their licensing exams with either the nationals or the state of California. So, you know, that being said, you're not going to find too much difference in curriculums from school to school, but you will find a difference in how the administration sort of approaches service for the students, and the different services that you'll find once you're in school, right? So free tutoring and things like that, and, you know, just being able to take advantage of an open administration. You know, all of our doors are open, and so it's not so much, you know, let me make an appointment or let me go through this person so that I can get through this to this person. No, we try to really maintain that community feel through multiple student meetings, even through Zoom. We've had multiple town halls, so we have cohort meetings as well, and our academic and admin departments meet with students on a regular basis to continue this sort of community atmosphere that we really try and build here. And other than that, I think that, you know, the history of the school, the people that work here speak for itself. And I really hope that everyone here, you know, continues to ask questions, tries to sit in at as many classes as you can, maybe if it's possible, and I'm not sure because, you know, we always recommend for prospective students to kind of go through some kind of a clinical treatment, even if you sort of elect to go through a telemedicine treatment process. Maybe that's something that you can take part in as well to sort of get the whole feel for traditional Chinese medicine and our school, the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences. So that being said, the last thing I wanted to say is that we are the Academy of Chinese Culture. So it's very rich in Chinese culture here. Many of our staff are Chinese. We do have a Chinese program and an English program. So you get a lot of sort of the culture here, and we celebrate the Spring Festival, and we pass around mooncake, and there's a lot of the sort of the Chinese culture and feel, and that is very much entrenched in the school that is the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences. I guess the last thing I want to say is, I've been with the school for 20 years. Our president and founder, so the first president, who was the founder of the school, died in 2011. So, I had the privilege of working with him for many, many years, and keeping his legacy alive through sort of his philosophy of community and of making traditional Chinese medicine programs affordable, right? And so we'll see that across the country that tuition keeps going up, and this is something that we battle as an administration and the board of directors of, keeping the tuition sort of where it needs to be and competitive with other schools. But of course, the wish of our founder was to make traditional Chinese medicine affordable, because we wanted to make it accessible, like Katrina was saying. And that's not easy to do in the Bay Area with expenses the way they are, but it's something that we continue to live by. And then, of course, one of the dreams that our founder had here was always connecting East and West, and to try to marry all of the best sort of eccentricities of Western culture and Western medicine with Eastern culture and traditional Chinese medicine. And that's something that we continue to try to do here today, while still honoring our roots in classical Chinese medicine. You'll probably hear a little bit about that from our Dean of Academic Affairs, who is in charge of our DOM program, and has gone through both programs. And I'm sure he can talk a little bit about that later. But with that, I just wanted to welcome everybody. I'm going to stick around, and I'm happy to answer questions. Thanks again for coming.
I've got a little soundtrack in my life here, which you are now privy to. My name's Phil Settles. I'm the Dean of Academic Affairs for the DAOM program. I was the Dean of Academic Affairs for all programs until recently, when a wonderful new entry came to our school named Karen Paramore. She's taking care of the masters right now, but I'm still involved in daily operations. I was a student at the school. I'm an alumni from 2008 to 2011. And I went through the MSTCM and then came back as a teacher a couple of years later. I've been teaching ever since and got on board within academic admin. I had the chance to put together a doctorate program to address what I thought was a deficiency in Chinese medical education, which is that a lot of the doctorate programs just seem to be a series of hoops to jump through for people to up their credentials, to kind of level up in terms of how they look on paper. But a lot of people going through those programs didn't really feel like they got more meaningful education, like they were better prepared in clinic, like they were better rooted in the classics of Chinese medicine, etc. So I wasn't interested in taking any of those existing programs. And with Andres and some of the other individuals here at ACCHS, we got to try to do something more meaningful, and that seemed to be more in the spirit of our founder, Dr. Cui Wei, who really had high ideals for what Chinese medicine education would be. So now we are closing in on the 4th year of operation of that doctorate program, and in the 37th year or so of operation of the master's program. And there's no other school that I'd rather be a part of as a student back when that was my role, and now as faculty and admin. As Andres was saying, curriculum is very similar, at least for the masters, from program to program, because it's the same state board exam or national licensing exam, but it's the different flavor that you get at any individual school that sets it apart. And for us, it's very much a communal flavor, one of being student-centered and supportive. So there's a lot of wonderful things about the Oakland School, about ACCHS, that make me happy to remain a part of it.
Thank you, Phil. Nice to have your little soundtrack there as well. All right, awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of alumni from our school still involved teaching in that admin, etc. at our school as well. And that's just the kind of community that we are, is that so many people stick around, like Phil, who's now leading the DIOM program after graduating from our school. So we have a lot of that. And you'll hear from one of our graduates / faculty as well in a moment. Joe Davis, who is going to share that Qigong practice with us. And he founded Octagon Community Acupuncture in Oakland, if you're familiar with that. And we also have graduates involved with Sarana Community Acupuncture, graduates that work at Kaiser, work at Sutter, work here at our school, work at ACTCM, work at Five Branches and other schools around the country as well, who focus in veterinary medicine, in oncology, in aesthetics and facial acupuncture, in Qigong, in energy medicine, in fertility, in all of these different kinds of specialties and areas and ways to practice. And they're all over not only the Bay Area, but all over California and all over the country and even all over the world. We have graduates that practice in China, for example, and in the UK and in Canada and other places as well. So we really, send our graduates and prepare them for so much and so many different opportunities and ways of practicing this medicine.
Hi, my name is Karen Paramore, and I'm the Dean of the MSTCM program at the Academy of Chinese Culture and Health Sciences in Oakland, California. Until quite recently, I had been working in corporate education for many years, where I sometimes encountered thousands of students every year. And I admit that one of the main draws for me to join the ACCHS team was the small student population size. It's gratifying to know that I can help individual students craft the educational career at ACCHS that they hope to receive, which is something you just can't do when you're engaging with thousands of students a year. I also was really drawn to the classical focus. I was trained in classical Chinese medicine, and I understand the medicine in a classical way. It's really great to be able to share that approach with the students here at ACCHS. And finally, I'm proud that ACCHS is doing work to reach out to the diverse population in the Oakland area. Seeing the scholarships offered to local students who might not have had the opportunity to attend ACCHS if we hadn't offered that scholarship is something that I really stand behind. I feel like it's well needed in these times. So I look forward to meeting you in person someday. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joe Davis. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, and I would love to talk to you today a little bit about my experience with ACCHS. So I have a pretty broad range of experience with ACCHS. I started school there in 2005. So I went to school there, I graduated in 2008, and I passed my boards. And then just recently, 4 years ago in 2016, I came back to school and enrolled in their doctoral program, which I'm wrapping up right now. I'm going to be presenting my capstone hopefully on December 5th and wrapping it up and getting my doctorate in acupuncture and oriental medicine as well. I also have the experience of being an educator at ACCHS. So I have been a didactic instructor, and my experience with Chinese medicine started with the martial arts with Tai Chi and Qigong, and that was ultimately what brought me to Chinese medicine. And shortly after graduation, ACCHS brought me on to teach their Tai Chi and Qigong courses. The fit was a good one, and over time I have taught a bunch of different courses there, including some of the foundations courses, Foundations of Chinese Medicine and Diagnosis, as well as philosophy courses. Along the way, I've also been a lecturer for the Golden Gate School of Feng Shui, which is also housed at ACCHS, which gives us an opportunity to explore some of the more cultural stuff surrounding Chinese culture and Chinese medicine, and that's been really fascinating too. Professionally, in 2009, me and three other graduates from ACCHS started Octagon Community Acupuncture, initially in Fruitvale, but now in North Oakland for over 10 years. And we've been continuously seeing people in an affordable, accessible way here at Octagon Community Acupuncture, which is actually where I'm talking from, where we do a sort of high volume, lower cost form of acupuncture that's relatively new for the West, but is closer to how people were being seen for Chinese medicine in the East. And it lowers the bar of accessibility and allows people to get Chinese medicine without necessarily having to be from an upper income bracket. So that's been a really good experience too, and allowed me to use Chinese medicine in a way that's relatively new for the West, but also very well received. Along the way, I've also been a clinic supervisor at ACCHS and helped people that are further along in their master's program start to actually do the practical work of putting needles in people and creating that sense of open communication with their patients and making sure that they feel safe, and most importantly, making sure that patients understand what's happening in the treatment room, because Chinese medicine is new to a lot of people, right? So it's very important that our communication skills and our education skills are very good. And I think ACCHS does a great job in giving those skills to its students. Interestingly, I've also had the opportunity to work in corporate America as an acupuncturist. So I'm the acupuncture program manager for a company called Crossover Health, which is a national primary care provider that staffs integrative clinics across the country for corporate America. So some of our clients are companies that you may have heard of, like Facebook and LinkedIn and Visa and Square, and we park clinics either on their campuses or near their campuses so employees can have access to integrative primary care. So I have a lot of experience talking to MDs and nurses and chiropractors and physical therapists and health coaches and social workers and therapists all about Chinese medicine. And I've seen where Chinese medicine integrates smoothly into that kind of model and where there's sort of sticking points. And this in turn has kind of informed how I present the material to my students at ACCHS so they can better integrate the traditional information we're learning with the modern healthcare environment. I will say that it's in terms of career prospects for acupuncturists, I believe it's very promising. I believe there's growing acceptance of acupuncture as part of mainstream medicine in many parts of the country, but there remain challenges as well. And a lot of these challenges are around communication and also around our industry finding unified voices and advocacy on the political spectrum, which has not been our high point as a profession thus far, but we're making progress there as well. So what brought me to ACCHS? Well, it's a really interesting community of people, right? It's very diverse in terms of age, sexual orientation, race, all these different things. It's a really, really great group of people. My impression at the time when I toured the schools with ACCHS had a student body that was a little bit more mature with a little bit more life experience behind under their belts, which led to a more stimulating student environment. I've always believed in the educational mission of ACCHS, which is to make it affordable and accessible. This was something that was really important to the founder, Sifu Cuiwei. ACCHS has a lineage of very dedicated practitioners and administrators, starting with Sifu Cuiwei, who's an early pioneer bringing Chinese medicine to, it's one of the oldest schools in the nation. And the early pioneers kind of got their foot in the door, but recent efforts by people like our president, Andreas Bella, and Phil Settles and Jason Salim are really bringing it to the modern world, to the next generation, and sort of adapting it to modern times. I also think ACCHS does a great job of keeping the practice of acupuncture grounded in tradition. And this is important to me because it was Eastern traditions of martial arts, meditation, cultivation that brought me to the study of Chinese medicine. especially during these times, those skills that we learn as practitioners to take care of ourselves are really, really important. So by learning Chinese medicine at a place like ACCHS, even if for some reason you never become an acupuncturist as a living, you'll leave with a wealth of skills that will benefit you and those around you tremendously. Acupuncturists are encouraged to walk the walk and learn and practice TCM on themselves, right? And this is a little bit different than medical school, where you might find a surgeon who's a genius at removing a blockage in the heart, but still eats like crap, you know, has bad relationships with his peers, and maybe smokes on the weekend or something like that. Not saying every surgeon is like that, but at ACCHS, we're encouraged to learn about diet, to learn about exercise, to learn about life patterns and living in rhythm with the seasons and things like that. And also to develop some sort of personal cultivation practice as part of how we actually can provide stellar care for our patients, as well as support our own foundation of health. So it's not just theory, but actually embodied practice. I don't want to take too much of your time today, but I do want to offer you just something practical that's not just a head talking on a screen. So I want to encourage everybody to take a second, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do some simple Qigong movements. So Qigong is if you translated it vaguely, it's energy work or vitality practices. And there's simple breathing exercises that increase your circulation, increase your vitality, boost your immune system, reduce stress, and also move all the joints in your body. So I assume most of us are at home doing this, so there's nobody around to see you. You can turn your camera on or off, but I really do encourage everyone to get up, take a few steps back from the screen, and give these exercises a shot, okay? So let's give it a try. So the first thing to do is to find a place where you can stand with your feet parallel and your arms spread. I'm going to take a second just to put a little bit of bend in our knees and just feel a little bounce in the lower body, just so you make sure that your legs aren't locked out, that you have a little bit of loading into the ground, right? And then we'll start by just a simple breath. Let's inhale up and exhale down. And I really encourage everyone, just try this. If it's new for you, that's great. If you're more experienced and you have a background in Qigong or yoga or whatever, just try these simple exercises. We'll do a little bit of breathing together. We're going to bring a Qigong quality of motion to this by focusing on making the breath smooth, uninterrupted, and kind of easy. Breath and movement together. Let's inhale up, and we'll exhale down. Inhale up. Couple more breaths just like this. Sometimes we call this heaven and earth breathing or a chi shower. But really all we're doing is trying to get breath and movement together and release any sense of being anywhere else except where we are. Excellent. Let's bring our hands down to belly level, and we're going to turn the palms in just for a second. We're going to feel some sense of stability in the lower belly, and then we'll do something really, really subtle here. We're going to take the palms and face them towards each other. So now like we're holding a ball. A few things to look at. We don't want this ball to be in too tight to our body. We don't want it to be high up, but a sense of ease and space in the armpits and elbows. And then we'll gently bring our awareness to the palms of the hands. There's a saying in Chinese medicine that we learn in our first semester that where the yi goes, the qi follows. And the yi means intention. Where the intention goes, the energy follows. So let's feel our hands for a second. All sensations of the hands. Qi is not a special sensation. Qi is all of your sensations, all of your emotions, all of your experiences are an expression of energy. Let's add a little motion to this. So we're going to inhale and this ball expands out. We're going to exhale, it collects back towards center. We talk about the principles of yin and yang in Chinese medicine. This is our foundational orientation. Our foundational philosophy is the contrast of opposites. In the beginning, it sounds abstract, but when we look at an exercise like this, we realize yin and yang is just inhale and exhale. Yin and yang is just expand and collect. This dynamic change between opposites is the foundation of how we understand health and pathology in our medicine. And over time, if we do simple exercises like this one, it stops being theoretical and it starts being a direct experience, which is really what we're looking for. After one more breath, we're going to bring the hands back to center and hold our ball. Stabilize our sensations and awareness into the palms of the hands. And now we'll just play with a gentle circulation, okay? So we're going to take this ball and we're going to circulate it up and then down. From the belly to the heart to near the head and back down. So if yin and yang is how we understand the fundamental philosophy of Chinese medicine, the fundamental key to health in Chinese medicine is circulation. So anything that gently moves will naturally restore health, harmony, and balance into our system. So doing gentle exercises like this, where we do a simple circulation, over time, help encourage the free flow of energy so our body naturally heals itself. Let's take this ball and go the other direction. And we'll come back to center. The palms are still facing. So this is a very short Qigong intro. Let's finish it with one more set of breaths up and down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And after the next circulation, this time we'll bring the palms down the center line and rest them gently below the navel with the palms facing in. We'll take a second just to sink into the sensations of our body. If you're stable, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, eyes open is fine. And we'll just take a few breaths to just feel the sum total of all the sensations in your experience right now. Feeling every part of your body gently alive. Then we'll take a second to feel the bottoms of the feet. So this is another yin-yang pair, the earth and the sky. Here we're feeling the earth, this feeling of stability, continuity, contact, and density. All those sensations at the bottom of the feet, you can't miss it. This is always here for you if you feel ungrounded, the sensation of stability at the bottom of the feet. And then at the very, very top of the head, let's look for or imagine a gentle lifting sensation at the very top of the head, almost like there's a tiny helium balloon plucking your head up towards the sky. The thought of up and some sense of connection to this open, weightless, expansive, horizon to horizon clarity. That is the sky. And then in between this open weightlessness at the top of the head and this stable density at the bottom of the feet, we'll once again find the sensation of our hands on our bellies, or the sky and the earth mix and mingle and create the experience of our center. And keeping some sense of stable, continuous awareness in the lower belly, we can open the eyes, relax the arms, and shake it out. So this is a very, very quick introduction to some of the principles of Chinese medicine in a non-theoretical way, right? Over your 3 or 4 years of education at ACCHS, you will learn all the theory, you will learn all the details, but ACCHS does a good job of focusing on keeping this direct experience, this embodied experience of the medicine in its curriculum and therefore in its students and graduates. So I recommend anybody curious about Chinese medicine, pursue it. It's a tremendously fascinating field. You never stop learning, and the self-care aspects of it are especially important at times like this, where we're all reliant a little bit more on ourselves than we typically have been. I look forward to seeing you at the school. Take care.
I feel like that's enough, right? If you want to keep studying with Joe and learn more of that Qigong, come to ACCHS, right? That's kind of all you needed. I've been doing a lot of Qigong with my patients lately in telemedicine settings, because as you can see from that little video that we did, it's a great way to like reach through the screen and actually create a healing session for someone when you can't be in the same room with them. So that's one of the tools that you'll learn for working with your patients and also for your own personal healing journey. So it's a great piece of this medicine that's very adaptable to different settings. So